A technical committee has been inaugurated by the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development.
Whatever information system that you will design for the benefit of the farmers, research is key to that. And they have to key in to get the information on the research that is available to improve their own production.
Without Nigeria focusing on basically helping to connect these small producers to funds, to land, and to markets, it is impossible for Nigeria to successfully transform agriculture.
Terms of reference to the committee include develop areas of partnership, prepare work plans, budget, lifetime for the program, as well as draft guidelines for the involvement and roles of partners. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And away from agriculture, sequel to Nigeria's resolve to reduce visa fees paid by United States citizens, the visa issuing agency has complied with the directive by the federal government. Comptroller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Mohammed Babandede, said this after an evaluation of the service by the Bureau of Public Service Reforms in Abuja. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday reports.
The similarities and leadership role played by Nigeria and the United States in global and regional affairs have over the years defined their bilateral relationship. The Nigerian government recently approved a reduction in price for visa by U.S. citizens from $180 to $160, a development that the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria said may lead to the review of the reciprocity fee for approved visa to the U.S. Already, the Nigerian Immigration Service has commenced implementation of the order.
It's the Minister of Interior who has the power to determine visa fee by our act. Based on the power conferred on him, he has asked me to reduce the visa fee for Americans to $160. This has been done, it's on our website, and I assure you that any American who applies for visa will be issued after paying of only $160.
On the 78 Nigerians involved in fraudulent activities in the U.S., the immigration boss said stringent measures have been taken.
We are able to have access to Interpol database information 24/7 in a week, which is called I-247. This is an opportunity for us as an agency of government that is in charge of mobility and migration to make sure that any criminal who is globally wanted by any country whose name has been put into Interpol database cannot come to our territory, cannot reside in our territory, cannot be able to do business in our territory.
The Comptroller General re-emphasized that there is no hiding place for criminals and that their actions do not represent what Nigeria stands for. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Let's go to business news now with Olainka Ojo to guide us.
Welcome to Business News. 1 year after the beginning of the Central Bank of Nigeria's intervention in the sales of foreign exchange in Chinese yuan, the Apex Bank has sold more than 1.3 billion yuan. The Apex Bank said the total intervention so far is worth about 61 billion naira. A breakdown of the data indicates that the Apex Bank intervened about 26 times in the forex market for the sales of yuan, specifically for the purpose of letters of credit for small and medium industries. To further encourage members of the Nigerian Armed Forces, the Nigerian Police Force, and other paramilitary agencies of investment opportunities in the capital market and how to protect their sundry investments, the Securities and Exchange Commission organized a one-day enlightenment outreach for officers in Abuja. The Acting Director General SEC, Mary Uduk, says the initiative is in a bid to step up its financial literacy and investor education drive. I am Olainka Ojo.
And from business, let's talk flood. The menace of flooding in Adamawa State has continued to make life difficult for the residents, considering the frequency of floods in the area. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports that the National Emergency Management Agency has taken steps to provide relief for victims of the disaster in Adamawa and other states of the Federation.
Adamawa State is one of the 30 states predicted to experience severe flooding by the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency. The 3rd of August 2019 was a gloomy day for residents of Adamawa State as floods wreaked havoc in most parts of the state. As a result, it claimed the lives of more than 11 persons. In addition, more than 7 local government areas of the state were adversely affected, with about 20,000 houses submerged. These led to contaminated flooded waters and epidemics hitting many communities, where about 700 persons were affected, with 4 deaths recorded.
I will get more ways of handling this, because the whole thing is how to prevent, although we've passed that stage. Now mitigation.
Barely 4 days ago, another flood wreaked havoc in most of the areas initially affected. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has since swung into action with the deployment of a search and rescue team as well as relief materials. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
And still talking flooding, the Acting Director General NEMA, Air Commodore Akugbe Iyamu, now joins us in the studio to talk more on the effort the agency is providing to provide succor to victims of flood in Adamawa State and other states of the Federation. Thank you, Air Commodore Iyamu, for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you, Nigerians.
Okay, now you just returned from Adamawa State, and we know in Nigeria disaster management has posed a lot of concern. How has this been managed so far?
Well, you have been following the trend, the prediction of NISA, telling you there's going to be upsurge in the water level, and the National Emergency Management Agency has been following this. I'll be following this closely, and the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, Engineer Mustafa Yunusa Meaja, has asked us, though it's away in Japan, that we should have an eye in Katsina, Adamawa, and Anambra. So for 3 days, the water was pounding Adamawa State, and they have to call out for help, and we were there. The situation was very, very pathetic. As I speak to you now, more than 11 local governments were seriously affected. That means the activities there have been dislocated. And the commercial activities have almost been reduced significantly.
Okay, now you know prevention, they say, is better than cure. With 2019 flood outlook, 33 states will be affected. What has been done to mitigate the disaster?
Yes, I want to assure Nigerians that the National Emergency Management Agency is ready. Don't forget, the management of emergency is collaborative. The stakeholders are all ready. Our critical stakeholder is the Armed Forces of Nigeria. As I speak to you now, the Nigerian Air Force have made available 2 serviceable C-130 for evacuation, massive evacuation. We have helicopters. The Army has made available their specialized equipment. Navy is making available boats. So don't also forget that we are fighting with nature, and you cannot control nature. It does what it likes. But whereby we cannot control it, we have to respond. And that responding now is that we are beginning to provide items for them, food and non-food items, that will return them back to succor.
Okay, I was just about to ask you that, but since you've mentioned it, what would be your advice to Nigerians, especially those living in flood-prone areas, as the rains intensify?
Well, the flood, most of the flood here is the consequences of bad behavior. Now, nature must take its course. The moment you constrain it, you begin to encourage water level to rise, and it's going to get to its trigger point. What we're saying is that the bad behavior of people just decided what to do without caring for planning or not should be reviewed and be looked into. And we also have to continuously sensitize them. It's not a matter of this is my ancestral home or no. No. It's when you have life, you begin to define those narratives. Immediately you see the water rising, the appropriate agency, the first responders, should encourage these people to get out of the flood plain. Yes.
Thank you very much, Air Commodore Akugbe Iyamu. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, we've been talking about flooding, but away from flooding, let's talk peace now. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Taraba and Benue state governors, traditional rulers, specifically Tortiv and the Akuuka of Ukari, religious and community leaders in the two states to meet urgently to bring an end to persistent violent clashes between Jukun and Tiv people. The president also urged the government and people of Benue and Taraba states to exercise restraint following the gruesome killing of Reverend Father David Tanko at Pankufu village on Wukari Road in Taraba. Describing such frenzy of human destruction, violent attacks on people and property in the communities by the warring parties as unacceptable, the president said the federal government will not sit idle and watch the deep-seated antagonistic relationship between the Tiv and Jukun people fester. A statement by the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, says the president condoled with the Catholic community, the government and people of Taraba over the losses arising from recent incidents involving the warring communities. Let's take a break now. The news continues shortly, so stay tuned.
Hey, you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in your mind, Abi. The person with them go help us. Baba Torosa, Shangalo, Ogalekuva, Mr. Sabi. And you know if you carry last for this one.
A spear into the top corner.
We sabi say Peking go crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for it. Go for football. Go for all Syria and the Liga Marchings live. Go for Go TV Max.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
Thank you for staying with us. President Muhammadu Buhari has rejoiced with Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum as he clocks 50. The governor, on the presidential delegation to the 7th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD-7, in Yokohama, Japan, got a goodwill message from the president. A statement by the special advisor to the president, media and publicity, Femi Adesina, said the president wished him good health, long life and strength to serve his people dutifully, having been inaugurated as governor last May 29. Professor Zulum, an academic and politician, holds a PhD in soil and water engineering and was commissioner for reconstruction, rehabilitation and resettlement under the Kashim Shettima administration. In a similar development, the All Progressives Congress has felicitated with the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, as he turns 50. In a statement by the APC National Publicity Secretary, Lanre Issa Unilu, the party acknowledged challenges facing Borno State, which has been well reported, and the tremendous progress the present administration has made in defeating the Boko Haram terrorists very visible. The APC therefore commended a sense of duty, energy, courage and proactive approach Governor Zulum has brought to bear in tackling the challenges within the short period he has been in office. Now let's talk electoral matters. Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has emerged winner of the All Progressives Congress primaries for November 16 governorship election in the state, having beaten 9 other aspirants. Solomon reports that the primary election took place at the Confluence Stadium, Lokoja.
Security was tight as 3,838 All Progressives Congress delegates filed out to cast their ballot to determine the party's flag bearer in the state governorship primary. 10 aspirants, including Governor Yahaya Bello, contested for the position of clinching the party's ticket. After several hours of voting monitored by INEC officials, APC officials from Abuja, and agents of the aspirants, sorting and counting of ballot papers followed immediately. The returning officer and chairman, Kogi State APC Primary Electoral Committee, Jigawa State Governor Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, declared the result as follows.
Yahaya Bello, 3,091. This is to certify that Yahaya Bello, having scored the highest number of votes cast, is hereby declared winner.
Babatunde Irukera, who came second, polled 109 votes, while Hassan Abdullahi came third with 44 votes. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
And away from electoral matters, for stories from other parts of the globe, let's join Adebola Brooksland Sunday with details.
The year-long Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo has hit a milestone of more than 3,000 confirmed and probable cases, with the death toll climbing above 2,000. The government data showed that as responders battle to overcome community mistrust and security problems, the outbreak, Congo's 10th, is the second worst epidemic of the virus on record. It is also the first in the densely forested hillside provinces where militia-led violence and ethnic killing have undermined security in certain areas for decades. Meanwhile, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has warned members of parliament that they are damaging his chances of getting a deal with the European Union by trying to block a no-deal Brexit. Mr. Johnson had announced he would be suspending parliament for 5 weeks.
To avoid debating the issue of no deal or deal.
Nigeria's former diplomat to France and Monaco, Ambassador Akin Fayomi, said the step taken by Boris Johnson could be described as a civilian coup aimed at time buying.
He knows that he might be on the losing side, but by decapitating Parliament, stopping them from the debates, means that they will have very little time, when they resume recess. In fact, it will be barely a few weeks before they have to do the EU summit in October 17, 18, then pulling out October 31st. But he says that he does not care, that it's a do or die affair now. Whether there's a deal or there's no deal, he must get Britain out of the EU.
Ambassador Fayomi also x-rays the danger of the UK leaving the EU without a deal.
UK must leave the European Union trade agreements, customs union, European Court of Justice, European police, so many things, implications for everybody, even concerning individuals. It's a worst case scenario, but Boris Johnson doesn't care about that.
The UK is due to leave the EU on the 31st of October 2019. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
And that concludes the news at this time. Thanks for staying tuned. I am Ruth Aguele.
NTA International. Oduduwa University, Iketimodu, PMB 5533 Ile-Ife, a federal government licensed university. Admissions into full-time, part-time degrees and postgraduate degrees are now on. Courses available are bachelor's degree and master degrees at the College of Management and Social Sciences, College of Natural and Applied Sciences, College of Engineering and Technology, as well as College of Environmental Designs and Management. at Oduduwa University. We also have College of Entrepreneurial Studies, where students learn various vocations and trade before graduation. At Oduduwa University, we also have the Center for International Studies and Exchange Programs, where our students in Part 3 spend a semester in countries like the USA, UK, Germany, Russia, and Ghana. Report for screening this Thursday at 12 p.m. at Oduduwa University, Ikpetumodu, PNB 5533, Ile-Ife. Telephone 080 56 56 56 56 or Oduduwa Polytechnic 213, Egbeda Idumu Road, Idumu, Lagos. Telephone 080 58 55 55 58. You can also visit us at Oduduwa College of Professional Studies, opposite First Bank, near Uniban, Ugbowo, Benin City. Telephone 070 56 55 55 54 or Akpo Resettlement Area, Abuja 080 56 56 56 56. Visit our website at www.oduduwauniversity.edu.ng. We can also change your university of choice to Oduduwa University. OUI fees are affordable and we also grant scholarships. Oduduwa University, yes, committed to qualitative education.
Go to the university. If anybody tells you or asks you whether this university belongs to the government, the federal government, the state government, you are not going to doubt it, because the facilities you find inside the Oduduwa University is unique and can compare favorably with federal